Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Since we last spoke, I've had surgery. I've had my 3 existing wisdom teeth extracted and SARPE surgery to expand my top palate. Check out my other videos somewhere here to find out more about what those are. Today I just want to talk a little bit about my recovery since Monday. So today's Friday. My surgery was first thing on Monday morning, and so we're kind of just over 4 days post-op, as they say. You can tell that I can't really speak very well. Part of that's just the expander, which I had put in before, but part of that is that my top lip is still very numb and hard to move. I'm practicing. It's quite difficult, and I'm still quite swollen around here, although nothing like what some people get from double jaw surgery. This is obviously a much more minor surgery than the double jaw surgery that I'll have in the future. So yeah, let's tell you the story of my surgery. So Monday morning I had to get up really early. I had to be at the hospital at 6:30, so obviously had to get up pretty much before then, although the hospital's pretty close to me. The surgery was going to be at 8, so between 6:30 and 8 I had to fill out some forms. They took me to the bed where I was going to recover, and I met the nurses and I met the anaesthetist, and they asked me all sorts of questions that I kind of answering the same questions over and over again about whether I was allergic to things, or they took a pregnancy test and all this sort of stuff. They'd done lots of tests the week before in the pre-op assessment, but I still needed to check all the information and check that everything was still fine. So I just waited until around just about 8 o'clock when my surgeon came, and it was nice to see him again. Obviously I know him reasonably well. He just, took me through everything that was going to happen. And then it was actually the anaesthetists that took me down to the operating room. It was quite a small room. It was really kind of like a tiny little cupboard, only really the size of the bed, and then some space for everyone to walk around. There were quite a few people there already. I had been staying pretty calm. I think I was pretty chilled about the whole thing. I had been the whole weekend trying to keep my mind off of things, keep myself chilled, calm, not thinking about it too much. And I think I stayed that way pretty much all the way. I was obviously a little bit nervous, but fine. In the operating room then, they kind of attached some stuff to here and some blood pressure things, and then I think they put in a thing into my arm here to put the anaesthesia in. Obviously I was going into full general anaesthetic, so they started that going, and then asked me to breathe is one of the words that's hard to say when your top lip doesn't move. Asked me to breathe into the mask, which was oxygen, I believe. And I remember thinking that I'd heard about how people start breathing and then they immediately disappear. And I remember breathing a few times and being like, I'm still here, it's fine. And then at some point I was just gone, and I don't remember it at all. I don't remember the process, nothing, it's just all gone. Then it kind of felt like I was in a really deep sleep. So I remember starting to wake up, and it just felt like, when you're so tired but you get woken up by something and you're just like, I really want to stay asleep. And I could feel like I was in a dream. I don't remember what the dream was, but it was like I was in quite a nice dream and I wanted to stay in the dream. And I was like, oh no, why is someone waking me up? Why am I being woken up? Then I remembered what was happening and that I was in the hospital, and I was being woken up in a different room, a recovery room, being looked after by the anaesthetists, I think, and nurses, and they were kind of managing my pain, and they were asking me whether things hurt, and I don't remember everything that happened then, but they were asking me if I was feeling unwell. I remember them asking me what my pain was on a scale from 1 to 10, and I remember saying 4, but I think they gave me some quite strong pain medication at that point. I think I was in quite a lot of pain. But that whole time I kind of drifted in and out. I kind of dozed a bit and slept a bit. I'm not really sure. It's kind of a bit muddled in my brain, until I was kind of more stable and settled, and they took me up to my hospital room where I was going to recover. And there I just kind of zonked out and slept for a bit. And actually I was kind of feeling fine. I was just feeling tired. I think I had so much pain medication that it was fine. And so I kind of felt like, I'd been told a lot about the idea that you might be sick after general anaesthetic, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't feel sick, this is really, really good. Just kind of slept. Eventually, people were there was an IV in my hand, they were giving me different medication. I think they were giving me pain medication and antibiotics. And at some point I asked for the nurse to get me my phone out of my hospital bag and to so that I could text my partner and my family and let them know I was fine. And I was kind of feeling fine up until, so then my surgeon came back in the afternoon, maybe about 2 p.m, just to check on me. And that whole time I'd been zonked out, but I'd been kind of just like, yeah, kind of hurts, I'm kind of tired, but overall, I'm okay. So he came, had a look at me and was like, yeah, everything went really, really well, the surgery went well, everything's great, you seem fine, it's really good. And he was going to leave me in the care of the nurses, recommend that I go home the next morning just to make sure that I was stable for the rest of the day, and then I'll see him for a follow-up next week. So I was like, okay, good. I feel like I'm recovering well. Almost immediately after he left, suddenly I just felt really, really sick. That next hour in the afternoon, I just couldn't keep anything down. I was like having some water and it was immediately throwing up. I was throwing up, essentially, grossness warning here, throwing up like the blood that partially I had swallowed during the surgery, I think, and also partially that I had, I was still bleeding in my mouth throughout, where the wisdom teeth had come out, I think, and so anything that I was swallowing, I was then swallowing more blood, and so I was throwing up, and the first time I threw up I was like, oh, that's such a relief, I feel so much better now. But then it was really frustrating that I couldn't then drink water and not keep it down for a while, so that was kind of annoying and not very pleasant for the afternoon. By evening time I was beginning to feel a bit better, and they were using this thing that I'd brought along, this mask, which is a water mask that's attached to a machine. I'll show you me using it later because I'm still using it on occasion. It's called a Hilotherm device, and essentially it pushes cold water around this mask around your face and keeps everything really cold. It's kind of, rather than using ice packs which are very, very cold, it can keep it at a really stable temperature, which is really good. And I found that I just had it on the whole time that I was in the hospital. Literally the only time I would take it off is if I needed to go to the loo. So I just wore this thing on my face. I looked like a kind of crazy, I don't know, alien monster thing, but it was so cooling and relaxing and I needed it. My face was so hot, like swelling and stuff. So I really needed the cooling thing. So then I got into the evening and I was starting to feel a bit better. They brought me a yogurt as like the first thing I was going to try and eat, which, obviously I had to stop eating the night before for the general anaesthetic, so I hadn't eaten in like 24 hours. Although hunger wasn't really the thing that I was worried about at the time. They brought me a yogurt and I managed to keep it down. And I was like, oh, this is great. Later on, when it was dinner time, they brought me like everything that they had that was like soft and cold. So I couldn't have anything hot. I couldn't have anything that needed me to chew. So the yogurt, they brought me a gorgeous like vanilla ice cream pot that was so tasty. A couple of smoothies, some juice, some water. And that was my dinner. And I was like, oh, right, I've had dinner. I've done all my throwing up. This is great. I'm feeling wonderful. I'll go to bed. So it kind of was quite difficult to go to sleep. I've got the machine in my face. It makes noise. There's the IV. I had to come in at midnight and put more medication in because of the schedule. And I'd had some anti-sickness medicine earlier to try and stop me throwing up. And they'd also given me some medication that was specifically to try and stop the bleeding, because obviously I was bleeding from the back of my gums occasionally, and then I was getting nosebleeds as well. So trying to stop the bleeding. There was also pain medication and antibiotics as well. So this schedule was there needed to be some more medication, I think some steroids and some antibiotics at about midnight. So they came in and started putting these in, and whatever the second one was that they put in, the IV, it really, I don't know whether it was coincidence or whether it was that medication, but immediately I felt like my heart was going, I felt dizzy, I felt like I was going to throw up, and I just was sick immediately that medication started. And I just threw up all of the food that I'd eaten for dinner, but whatever. I kind of told them that I thought that was what was the issue, was the medication, but they weren't sure whether it was that or whether it was just that the anti-sickness medication had worn off. So who knows? But I'm convinced it was the steroids. I just kind of tried to sleep for the rest of the night and until the next morning, and actually felt okay. Obviously everything was getting more and more swollen. I was keeping the mask on, but then the next morning I had actually managed to eat some solid food. They brought me some like soft scrambled eggs, and I just kind of smushed that down, and that was fine. I had to leave it until it went a bit cold because I still wasn't meant to be having hot food. But that was really, really good to eat that properly. So day kind of 1 after the surgery, I managed to start eating hot food, and I got sent home kind of mid-morning. I rang up my partner and let him know to come and pick me up. And they discharged me. I was using the cooling mask pretty much the whole of that first day after the surgery at home as well. I hired it, so in the UK you can just hire it to be sent to you for a week or so. Hey, so this is the cooling face mask that I've been wearing, I mean, for the first 3 days, like pretty much the whole time. It's so nice, it feels so cold, and my face has been so hot that it just like, yeah, it feels the best. So this is the box it's attached to. You turn it on and then like water is cooled and then pumped through there and then all over my face. And I've been sleeping with it on, and it just, yeah, this has been my existence for like the last few days. And I was put on a set of different medications, so I'm taking paracetamol 4 times a day, I'm taking ibuprofen 3 times a day, antibiotics, and I also have some codeine in case the pain got really bad, which my surgeon recommended I take at night, which I did for the first 2 nights, but I haven't taken it the 3rd night, so hopefully I won't need to continue taking that because it's quite strong medication. And then I'm also taking just some vitamins, so I'm taking vitamin B complex and a multivitamin tablet, and I've also been taking arnica to try and help with the bruising. And using arnica cream. I haven't quite bruised. Originally I was like, there was one really strong bruise here where one of the wisdom teeth came out, and here and here. There was like these 3 spots of bruises, but they're kind of spread out a little bit now. I think the arnica's been helping. So day 1 I really just came home and was just completely wiped out. Didn't really do anything. My partner's still working from home, so he just picked me up, took me home, brought me food when I needed it, let me sleep. Got the TV set up in the bedroom. I've taken over the bedroom and my partner's sleeping on the sofa for now. I have to sleep really sitting up, so I'm not allowed to put my head flat back. I've got like 3 pillows, and in the hospital I was sleeping sitting up. Day 2 after the surgery, I woke up feeling quite a bit better, although probably the most swollen on day 2, I think. So I woke up feeling better, and in the morning I actually managed to kind of get up and do a few things. Some people sent me some flowers, so I went and like put them in a vase, but then by the afternoon I just completely crashed and slept all afternoon, and in the evening felt a bit kind of bad and wasn't really feeling much like eating, which is fine. I guess it's a lot of medication to be taking as well, and it's kind of exhausting. I haven't been sick at all since I come back, which is really, really good. I did get a couple of nosebleeds that day. It was like if I put my head down at all, like I was doing my teeth one time, I would get a nosebleed, or tried to pick up a bag, getting a nosebleed. But apart from that, the bleeding in my mouth had stopped as well, so that's been a relief. Day 2 after the surgery as well, was the first day that I needed to turn my expander. So for anyone that hasn't been following, the thing that was fitted before my surgery is an expander that sits in my palate. I have a key I have to turn to expand the teeth out to the side. So I'll put in a video of me doing the expansion. This is actually me doing it today, so I've had some practice by then. Hey, so it's 4 days after the SARPE surgery, and I'm going to be turning my key in my expander for you. This is the 3rd time I've turned it, so I turned it once starting the second day after surgery on Wednesday. I've turned it one more time since then, and this time I'm going to do it to show you how it works. So the key goes in here and then I pull it round. Done.
And you've already got a bit of a gap in your teeth.
Yeah, you can see. Can't really move my top lip, but you can see a little bit of a gap. So yeah, I'm turning the expander every day, once a day. Apparently this particular expander, each turn is quite a large expansion, so some people have to do it multiple times a day, but I think that just depends on the type of expander that you're using and how much expansion that your orthodontist wants you to get. I've started expanding it pretty early after the surgery, so only 2 days after, and also my surgeon definitely expanded it during the surgery as well. I could see that the expander itself was open, and I also already had a tiny tooth gap. I might put in some pictures of my tooth gap. It's already started showing, which is kind of weirdly exciting. I don't know why. It's going to get annoying when it gets too big. At the moment it kind of looks cute, so that's fine. But I know it's not going to continue to look cute forever. It's crazy how much the tooth gap shows immediately. Like, it's happening so quickly. So yeah, we'll see how crazy it gets. So then day 3 felt actually better for most of the whole day. I still had a nap. I went for a walk with my partner out in the sun, and yeah, I've been kind of up and about most of yesterday. And today I really feel a lot more like myself, which is great. I've still got quite a lot of swelling, and the main thing that's bothering me now is just the inability to move my top lip. So I'm kind of numb, I guess, from just under the nose up around here. It's not completely numb, like I can feel when I'm touching things, but yeah, here and then up to here is pretty much numb. And if I try and smile, you can tell that I can't move that top lip very much. It's really weird. It was quite wonky on either side, so I had the wisdom teeth at the bottom out here, so this side was much more swollen than this side. I think it still is a little bit. There is no wisdom teeth down at the bottom here, so that's why it's not come out. So yeah, my smile has been a bit crazy. I've been taking some photos of my smile as well. I might put some of those up because those are hilarious. My partner described them as the most unattractive pictures he's ever seen of me, which I can kind of agree. They are pretty terrible. But yeah, that's today. Obviously today I've had plenty of energy, enough to make this video, and yeah, I feel really good that things are only going to get better from here. Next steps are to see my surgeon again next week to check everything's fine. I think also to remove some gauze from one of the wisdom tooth holes, I guess. And then after that to see my orthodontist to work out whether we need to continue turning the expander, how long to continue turning it for, and then when to put braces in to start bringing it all back round. I have to say it's all gone pretty well. It has been unpleasant. I think you can tell that, you know, as much as I'm talking here and, you know, saying everything's fine, everything's gone really well, it was pretty unpleasant, and this was only the minor surgery that I'm going to need to have. So just kind of trying to mentally prepare myself for when I might have a bigger surgery in a year or so's time. Thanks everyone. I've been so overwhelmed by the amount of support, particularly on Instagram and Facebook. Please do follow me on Instagram. It's so nice over there. Everyone's been sending such lovely messages, and do subscribe here if you want to see what happens next. I'm going to try and continue uploading videos, kind of chronicling getting the braces, having the gap, and bringing it all in, and until I have the surgery in the future. So if you do want to follow along, please do subscribe, and please feel free to ask me any questions about the surgery. If any of you are thinking of having this surgery and aren't sure about it, then please comment down below and let me know what you're worried about or what you have thoughts about. Thanks everyone.